Welcome back to Interpack and our live studio. This is day 7. It's the last day of Interpack. It has been a full week of networking, looking at innovations and exchanging ideas. And we are looking forward to this last day and also looking at it with a happy and a sad eye because it's going to be 3 years until the next Interpack. But to talk more about that, we'll be joined by Thomas Dose at 12 and 1 p.m. to do a recap of this year's Interpack and look into the future. So you should join us then, but you should also stay with us now because we are going to look at packaging and sustainability and a very interesting project. With me to look at this is Michael. I said you had to say your last name because I can't pronounce it.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Julia. So it's Michael and, as we would say in Holland, Nieuwesteeg.
Thank you. That was much prettier than I would have been able to say it. You're from the NYC, the Netherlands Packaging Center Association. Thank you so much for being with us today. How has Interpack been so far for you? You've told me it's not your first one.
No, actually it's my 9th one, as everybody can see. And we were joking about that the first one was when the dinosaurs were still alive. I would say Interpack is anything but a dinosaur. It's really a live and kicking event. And also for us as the NVC, who are a partner and a customer of the Interpack, I think we did great, you know. I think we have about 1,200 people talking to over the past days, and the day is still going on.
Can you
Happy?
Can you tell me a bit more about the association? Are you bringing different packaging companies together and then bringing them here to the fair, or how does it work?
Well, first of all, for the listeners, take care because you talk about packaging companies and we will see what's that exactly. But actually, we are 540 member companies, so you could also join if you like. And that ranges from the big retailers, Julia. So maybe you ever bought something at IKEA or at Jysk, you know, or the food retailers. So there are many of them are member, or HEMA, yeah. But also companies that are really making products and putting them in boxes. So let's have some Werbung for Haribo here. Yeah, could be a member, is not at the moment. And we have suppliers, like the exhibitors here, of course. So the Aussteller hier natürlich, yeah. And then also designers, test institutes, and all these type of organizations. But they all are interested in the activity of packaging. Or as the Germans would say, in German language, verpacken. That's about the association. Now, we were founded in 1953. So we just celebrated our 70th anniversary. That was on the 28th of April.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we made it, 70. And we hope to do another 70 year. I'm the director. I don't think I will be here in another 70 years, so sorry, Julia, you have to do it with me today, but I don't think I will make it for the next 70 years as a person. But NVC will certainly do that.
Hopefully, and maybe we will see you again in 3 years at Interpack.
That will be okay, yeah.
Yeah. You already mentioned right now the kind of distinction, which I found very interesting, between the verb in German or in English to package something and the noun packaging. Yeah. Tell us a bit more about this and why it is so important for you to make this distinction.
Yes. So also for the people at home and at the show, so this is what we call a packaging exhibition. But now we have to be careful. So English is a very nice language.
It is.
Hello, England. But it's also easy to speak, which brings its risks. For instance, in English, if I would say packaging, it could be the box, but it could also be doing it. And for those who are only native in English, I would say, think about bottle. You say, I have a bottle, but filling the bottle, that's called the bottling process. Yeah. So now in German language, for instance, it would be verpacken when you are doing it, and it would be Verpackung, the thing that you are using. Now, as association, of course, Julia, we have a very key interest in carefully defining what we are doing. Now, we are united by the fact that we do the activity of packaging. verpacken. Aber auf Deutsch sind wir Verpackungszentrum, das ist interessant. Auf Holländisch auch sind wir ein Verpackungszentrum, aber wir sind davor, verpacken zu machen. So for the English, we are there on the activity of packaging. Now, and then it gets interesting, because once you have defined that, you can carefully say, so what are the consequences of making the choice to do it? And then the show starts.
It is very interesting. You also see we are not only at an international fair, but also multilingual here, which is very nice.
Yeah, no Esperanto, eh? Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay, let's take a look at a project that I think is very close to your heart. You have brought me this lovely stuffed animal here, the little puma. Tell us about the PUMA Project. What is it and why was it launched or founded?
So the PUMA Project basically, Julia, and also for you listening around here, we defined it 7 years ago, based on the 20 years before as an association that we really work on that topic. And we said we now must do our homework very carefully and definitely to make an end to packaging as an environmental issue. And in all honesty, for the ones who are looking to us and for the two of us, do you know from which year the original European legislation is on packaging and packaging waste, Julia? Do you know the year?
I don't know.
Do you want me to tell it to you?
Yes, please.
1994.
I had 1997 in my head, so I wouldn't have been too far off.
Yes. And for you also to know, here being in Germany, do you know the name of the German Ministry of Environment that year? She was a woman. Angela Merkel.
Oh, now there you go. We all know her.
You see? So, on the one hand, we discuss the dinosaurs and the time scale and we say things move. On the other hand, we are here on a show where everybody talks sustainable packaging. But the first legislation and the first moves in Europe to get it solved is nearly 30 years old. And I think that's not good.
Do you think we have achieved a lot since then?
No.
Okay, why not? Tell us why.
We have achieved a lot, but at the same time, we have gone into directions where it sometimes seems as if the problems have even grown. So let me be very blunt at this last day of the interpack. And we are part of this business, and we are the heart of the business. We did a big conference on the 3rd of May. Every year, still every year, 20 million tons of plastic waste is going into the ocean year after year. So that was not the case in 1994.
Because there was less packaging overall, probably, right?
Yeah. You know? So it's not about being angry. It's more about being positively astonished that a huge industry like this is not capable of solving a problem, and that it takes more than 30 years, and that we are still here at an interpack where everybody still is trying to solve the problem. Now, having said that, Julia, I'm not going to ask you for your age. Because we promised that and you would ask my age. But I think we can solve it. And PUMA is meant to solve it. And PUMA is positive in the way that we say, so we have to do our homework better. So we have to carefully say, what wording are we using? When do we use the word packaging? What do we really mean with it? What are the implications when you start to use it? Maybe we have 1 minute to sort of describe that later, you know? What is recycling?
I was going to ask whether you only look at like kind of the end of life, look at packaging waste and what to do with that, or is it also that PUMA already looks at the beginning, how to design packaging, how to package things so that not as much waste comes out?
There goes my heart for you. It's the holistic thing. So if you look to the PUMA Manifesto, which we now launched in German also, I've got it here.
Yeah, you showed me before.
Yeah. So in German is das PUMA Manifest gemeinsam auf dem Weg, Verpackung als Umweltproblem weltweit zu beenden.
Could you translate that to English as well?
Yeah. The PUMA Manifesto. Good question in this context. Together on the way to make an end to packaging as an environmental issue worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We describe everything really holistic. And we also use several models for that, like the Rubik's Cube. Do you know the Rubik's Cube?
I do, but I'm not very good at it.
Exactly. Do you know what is the world record solving the Rubik's Cube? How many time these people use?
I think it's only a few seconds in which they can
Yes.
get it right.
And I urge you as a viewer also for the fun to go to YouTube and then to go to World Record Rubik's Cube. And then you will see a girl and a boy solving the whole cube in 14 seconds.
It's quite fast.
Now what's happening, if you see that film, Julia, the first 10 seconds they spent in analyzing the cube. It goes like this. And then suddenly, I cannot do it with my microphone, and then it's suddenly done.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same with packaging. Once you have described it carefully, what we do in the PUMA project, and together with now nearly 1,000 companies involved, nearly 1,000, it's a sort of a Rubik's Cube. You know when you turn on one side, something turns on the back side. So when you design something in the front end, something may change in the collection. Mm-hmm. When something changes in the collection, it may change something in the back end converting. Yeah? But if you carefully analyze the problem, we must be able to solve it. And last but not least, we defined environmental problems as problems that are caused by mankind. So per definition, the problems we cause, we must be able to solve. So for you, Julia, the dinosaurs were killed by a meteorite, you know?
Yes.
I mean, that's a natural disaster. That's not an environmental problem. Yeah? So the answer is, yes, we created the project to finally get a way to make an end to the packaging, Verpackung, wherever it shows as an environmental problem, as an Umweltproblem. Mm-hmm. Yeah? And we will solve it.
Very good.
And you will be helping with that. And you are doing it now.
Yes, definitely. I guess giving this platform is always a good idea to put these issues and ideas also to the front. So tell me, how important is a fair like the Interpack for you, the association, but also the project
Huge.
To get into contact with everyone?
It's huge. I would say many thanks also to Thomas Doze and the whole team, because you have managed to get everybody together here. 3 years ago, Corona. You know?
It's been a long break.
We've been here, you know? I've been in these years also here before, and it was empty. It was desolated. Now we have got the chance, and Thomas Doze and the team, and TV Live and Packaging Journal, Werbung. Packaging Journal, Werbung, has done it. But now we must use it to make it into a better world. Mm-hmm. So I hope that the Interpack 2026 really has benefited from the PUMA project, that everybody sees this Sendung. I don't even know the English word of Sendung. This
sector?
No, the way we send it, this program. Now and maybe later on the internet, okay, gets back to either you, Packaging Journal, or us from the NVC, and that we really make the move. Mm-hmm. And concluding that very seriously, and we need also in this project proper information, like Packaging Journal is doing, proper cooperation, like a lot of people intend to do, you know, step a little bit over your own shoulder, over your own shadow, and just talk to the other woman or man in the industry, and use the PUMA Manifesto as a guideline. We have it now in 10 languages. It was introduced in Korea in April. It was in China, Japanese, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Dutch, Italian, German.
Yes.
And we are now going for Arabic and Hindi.
I'm impressed that you know literally all the languages that your manifesto is in.
As my wife would say, you speak them, but you don't understand them. But she says that also for Dutch, you know. Well, I don't speak the languages, you know. But as we are a huge association, in all honesty, Julia, like, let's say, the Korean edition, so we very carefully look to the membership. There are 540 members companies that are all multinational, German, Italian, Korean, whatever. And then we check in our database who might be interested being native Korean speaking and English and capable in packaging and capable of sticking a hand out and shaking hands with other colleagues. And then you need 4 or 5 people and then you do it, you know. And then it takes a year.
Lovely. You have just mentioned the next interpack in 3 years, 2026. If we look now at what could change until then, does PUMA have any like concrete steps or ideas and that companies can do to solve this environmental packaging issue?
So the first one I already mentioned. Read Packaging Journal, read any serious trade magazine in packaging.
By the way, we did not like brief him on doing advertisements for us. I think I should say that.
So now give me my money, no? But seriously, it's key that we share reliable information. As NVC and in the PUMA Project, there's a whole department, information department, where we share for free all the publications, the scientific research, but also the data that are maybe not so nice to know, you know? Like the 20 million tons of plastics in the ocean.
Sometimes that's the very important information that you need, though, to
always
go into the right direction.
So first thing is also listen and read the things that are not so obviously for you to read immediately. Second thing is we do every year a meeting. The next meeting will be on the 14th of March 2024. We do that live hybrid. So actually we have the whole of the world there because we have the like this, but then interactive with the participants. And now to the different topics. One key topic is information. As we just explained, I will try to explain if you allow me together, you know. So Julia and I were making this little joke about this Haribo thing. But after the Packaging Journal team has eaten all the candies, what remains is the empty box. Where is that box? You know, Julia?
It's no longer at Haribo's.
Exactly, exactly. So we need to implement the right coding and identification to be able to trace where everything has gone. The current world is totally centered up to the point of sale. From a PUMA perspective, that's not acceptable anymore. Yeah? The whole industry over the past 30 years has been optimizing everything up to the moment that Rewe or Aldi, if you're listening, or Lidl, or Walmart, or Tesco, have sold it. And then it's bye-bye, goodbye, enjoy. That's a first thing we need to know. We have to get the information in. Let's say a barcode that you are wearing already, or a QR code, even better. Yeah?
That's the outfit for tomorrow.
Yeah. Second thing is, carefully look at collection, control, and back-end processing. The word recycling, Julia, is not in the PUMA manifesto.
Okay.
It's not. You know why?
I am looking forward to know, because I don't.
Nobody really understands what it is.
Oh, really?
Is it a collection? Is it material recycling? Is it recycling into a new packaging material? Is it recycling in new textiles?
Okay, so you would like to have the definitions much more clearer of certain words.
Exactly. And when you look the PUMA manifesto, we did it in the conference, it worked well. So you have the collect control step. Yeah? And then you have back-end converting. A back-end could be back-end converting back to a material, could be back into energy, could be back into compost. You might even say, theoretically, you know, I mean, conceptually, back-end to landfill. Not that you want to do it, but we have to describe it carefully. Yeah. And then within back-end to material processing, of course, we would say, to what type of material? Would that be a front-end material, again, for a new Haribo box? Or would that be a front-end material for a pallet? Or would it be a front-end material for a new desk? You know? So we have to clarify the collect, control, and the back-end processes in our industry. And that's the two things. Information, and get the wording right, and then get the processes in it.
Obviously, you are working together a lot with the industry, with brands.
Yeah, and the government.
Yeah, those people who produce the materials, the machines, etc.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, do you think it is also necessary for consumers to have this like more divided clarification on words?
Cool.
Like recycling, because I was just thinking maybe for consumers it would be very, or even more confusing if you were to make that distinction in recycling, for example.
Yeah, that's really a fantastic question, and I think we are then through to our time. Yeah, that's a really good question. We have 1 minute left, 2 minutes?
You can just answer, that's all good.
Not
too long, not 5 minutes.
The first catalyzing answer would be, why, as an industry, would we always say, give all the sorrows to the consumer? I'm driving an electric car, a Tesla. I mean, don't bother me with all the things, you know? Let me drive my car, let me recharge my car. I assume that somebody who sells a product to me has done her homework or has done his homework. And especially as an industry, we should not use it as an excuse that we didn't do our homework, that we then say, oh, yeah, you know, the consumer. Now, having said that, and in conclusion, information is key. There is a company, for instance, in the Netherlands, it's called EcoScan. You scan the bottle, the data is already taken by the photo even and by the barcode. It then gives you the advice how to dispose of the bottle. And even if you combine it with your location, you might easily think, hey, and now it says you the next bin is 50 meters away. Like you do a bed and breakfast. Like when you are in a city, say, where's the restaurant? Yeah. So I think we should have adequate and sufficient information on the packs to support a proper collect, control, and resulting back-end processing, Julia. But not too much.
I think digital technologies are also a very important factor here.
Yeah, and we can do it. You know, if we can get people on the moon, if we can get electric cars on the road in most of the countries of Europe,
we should be able to tackle the packaging environmental
let me put it this way: if we are able to make candies like this, we should be able to do it.
I think we will be. The question is just when. Michael, thank you so much for stopping by and talking to us and giving us this very interesting view, because it was very different from talks we've had so far on sustainability, really making this distinction.
I've heard all your other stories, the whole jury. You know, the only thing I was doing was watching packaging.
Have you really watched all of them?
Oh, my nose is growing now.
Well, you can rewatch them, of course.
Exactly.
Online.
And on Netflix, I presume.
Oh, maybe. They haven't contacted us yet, but it is definitely something they should look into.
Yeah, sure.
If you have missed any of our videos, you can rewatch them at interpack.de or packagingjournal.de. Michael, thank you so much. I hope everything goes well with the association and that we will be able to tackle all of these issues.
Thank you, Julia.
I hope you have a wonderful last day at Interpack and maybe see you again in 3 years.
Thank you.